Hello friends, great evening. Welcome to the day 17th of our Health and Fitness Club Challenge theme, where we were discussing on multiple health and well-being related topics. Of course, from past few days, we discussed mostly on intermittent fasting, and yesterday majorly we started discussing on digital detoxification and digital fasting. Out of that, first we wanted to cover on digital detoxification, that is digital detox. I think yesterday we discussed what is digital detox and what are the symptoms and how does it look like. Maybe we just covered why does the digital detox is needed in this current fast-paced life scenario. Of course, today we need to discuss few more details, as I mentioned, as a continuation to the yesterday's video. So maybe to just give a quick recap, I think I have mentioned few of the symptoms, like the signs. How do we know that we need a digital detox? So as I mentioned, if you are feeling anxious, if you are feeling depressed, lack of concentration, constantly feeling distracted, so won't leave your house without your phone, okay, and eat with your phone on the table, okay, turn the TV on as soon as you get home, text while having a meal with friends or family. Okay, so if you can relate to several of the above or any of the above, you just might got addicted to the dopamine rush. That is a common part of the most of what we do online. Dopamine rush, underline that word. In fact, social media and other interactive forums of technology purposefully target your natural dopamine response. You want to know how it works? You need to chase the dopamine dragon. Dopamine is an important neurotransmitter. It helps control how your brain sees rewards and pleasure. Correct. Dopamine and its corresponding receptors in your brain also determine how you respond emotionally to various stimuli and how we see things that will be rewarding. Correct. So once the dopamine response associates certain things with pleasure, it compels us to take action towards those things. This relationship between pleasure and action is what makes dopamine a major factor in things like addiction and risk-taking behaviors. Technology use. So particularly smartphones and social media trigger our dopamine response in a variety of ways. Do you know how? When we get a text or a like for our photo or a comment, our brains release dopamine and we feel so good. So we associate social media and smartphones with good news, social validation, attention, and social engagement. Friends, the research shows that dopamine is released even when we merely view pictures of attractive faces. That's correct. So just browsing through Instagram gives you a dopamine rush. Interactive platforms like Facebook and Snapchat can also trigger more than just dopamine. It's called oxytocin, the love or bonding hormone, is also released when we share our personal or difficult things and receive supportive comments. The cyclical or habitual pursuit of these rewards is what creates the compulsion loop. Let me tell you what is this compulsion loop. Once dopamine has keyed in on these things as pleasure devices, it begins to compel us to seek them out. That is why occasional use quickly becomes a compulsion to continually check our phones for texts, email, comments or likes, even things like the weather and cricket scores. Further, the more interactive the interface, the deeper we tend to habitually engage. Like substance addiction, we will be compelled to seek out more. This can be both frequency and intensity. The result is obsessive, pleasure-seeking behavior, my friends. Online and video game designers purposefully create scenarios that target our dopamine response to create and sustain these compulsion loops. Social media by design is one big compulsion loop. It seeks to keep us engaged as much as possible by offering incremental rewards. And we are often in the loop even though we may not realize it at the time. So do you know what kind of impact it has on screen time and your health? Here are just few things. Let me highlight. Risk of depression and anxiety increases significantly with the use of social media. The more social media accounts, the higher the risk of depression and anxiety. So media devices harm sleep. Bedtime access to and use of a media device were significantly associated with inadequate sleep quantity, poor sleep quality, and excessive daytime sleepiness. In in-bed device use is associated with sleep and mood dysfunction in adults. Participants with high in-bed ESM use more likely to have insomnia, anxiety, and short sleep duration on weeknights. Friends, the iPhone effect, you need to understand what exactly this is. This is the name given by researchers who studied the influence of phones on a host of different measures of social and personal engagement. In short, the iPhone effect is not so good. The study looked at how the mere presence of an iPhone on the table during an interaction resulted in significantly lower conversation quality and lower empathy levels. The effects were found regardless of sex, age, ethnicity, and mood of the participants. The mere presence of a phone can have negative effects on closeness, connection, and conversation quality. These results were most pronounced when individuals were discussing personally meaningful topics. That's correct. According to the researchers, just the presence of a cell phone can have a negative effect on interpersonal relationships. That's right. They propose that removing the devices will lead to more feelings of closeness, trust, and empathy, particularly when trying to have a meaningful conversation. And its impact on screen time on kids, do you want to know that? Research on screen time on children is focusing more on mobile devices usage, and studies suggest that duration, content, after dark use, media type, and the number of devices are the key components determining screen time effects. Physical health effects of excessive screen time in children has been associated with poor sleep, higher risk of obesity, higher risk for cardiovascular diseases and insulin resistance, poor stress regulation, impaired vision, reduced bone density, psychological and neurological effects of excessive screen time in children also happens these days, like depressive symptoms and suicidal ideations, antisocial behavior, and decreased prosocial behavior. It's like addictive screen time use decreases social coping. Excessive technology use in children can cause autism-like behaviors as well. Please be careful. So the brain structural changes related to cognitive control and emotional regulation, a lot of things will happen. Luckily, there is a solution to all of this. You can create a buffer between your real life and your use of technology. So we need to incorporate a digital detox into your routine. So do you want to reclaim your life from TV, smartphones, and social media? So you need to do a digital detox. Do you want to know how it is? We'll cover it tomorrow. Stay tuned. Till the time, all the best. Enjoy your reading journey. Thank you.